12 villagers become a close, tight-knit village in just 14 days, and then scatter back to their lives and never see each other again. That's Malpelo, 500 kilometers or 310 miles off the Colombia's Pacific coast. One liveaboard at a time, 12 divers total. The crossing alone takes a full day or more, depending on weather. And once you leave the port, there's no turning back. Here's what actually happens when you commit to living beside a rock with people you just met. You fly into Cali in Colombia, which already feels far from anything wet, and then you're on a bus for 3 to 4 hours, winding through the Andes where you'll board the boat, which, by the way, in scuba diving they commonly call these boats that you live on liveaboards. They're boats that you live aboard. In scuba diving, people aren't very sophisticated with naming, but while on this journey, on that bus, the road gets steeper, the air gets thicker, and then by the time you smell the Pacific, you're too far in to turn around. You board your liveaboard, and it leaves port. The coast shrinks fast, and for the next day or more, it's just a horizon and nothing else around. No signal, no land, and your phone becomes a camera that happens to have a clock on it. The first morning you wake up out there, nothing has changed. Same water, same sky, same low hum of the engine. And then someone points. A dark wedge sits on the horizon that doesn't look like it belongs on this planet. Several sharp peaks rising out of the water, with thousands of seabirds circling above them. That's the island of Malpelo. Uninhabited except for a small military post with nothing else in any direction. You sense the isolation before you even touch the water, and that's exactly the point. You're not visiting Malpelo, you're moving in next door on your vessel, and we are just there to visit. And if you're enjoying this video, now is a great time to like and subscribe. This channel is all about scuba stories, dive adventures, and underwater encounters that bring you closer to the ocean. And if you're enjoying it, please do share it with others. So, 12 divers, that's the entire guest list, split across 2 skiffs with 6 people per boat, plus the guides and crew. The boat itself is basic, beanbags on the deck, benches for meals, no spa, no covered lounge to escape the wind. This is the Furox, a pure tank of a sea vessel, and it used to be used as an icebreaker in Antarctica. One of the few ships that can get you to and back to Malpelo safely. So if you came for resort living, you got on the wrong boat, and you're about to find out. Day 1, everyone's polite. Where are you from? How many dives have you logged? What's your camera setup? The standard handshake, and it wears off fast. By the second morning, people compare notes over breakfast on which site has stronger current, who saw more hammerheads, and by the second night, the camera table was crowded. Someone shows a clip of an actually very rarely seen Furox shark that they didn't see coming. And I had my own story to share. I lost my own mask after the back roll into the water. Fortunately, I had a spare mask, and nobody judged me for it. We've all been there, and the ocean humbles you in the same way no matter how many dives are in your logbook. And that's exactly why that social wall on liveaboards comes down so fast. You're spending a lot of time and being very intimate around all the divers and having this shared experience through the days. Divers already share a language, and you don't have to explain why you spend several weeks on board a liveaboard to sleep on a bunk and eat rice out of a bowl. Everyone in that gallery paid the same price to get to Malpelo, and the boat ride alone generally will filter out anyone who wasn't serious. But by the end of day 2, you're not 12 strangers anymore. You're the early crowd at the same strange party, and you don't know the last names, but you know who's bad at gas consumption and who has some fantastic trim, or rather the scuba diving posture. You know who snores and who wakes up before the alarm, and somehow that's enough to build a village. The alarm goes off before sunrise, and you stumble to the gear deck in the dark, still half asleep. And not everyone has had their coffee yet. In moments, the dive day will begin. A shared experience for the whole boat as we gather for a series of dives to fully see what we can find on any given day at Malpelo. 3 dives through the day, separated by surface time, rest, and meals. It certainly feels more exhausting and busy than it sounds, and it goes by fast too. Faster than you would believe. At the camera table each day, the footage review and the stories of the day's ventures are shared amongst everybody, and that repeats day after day. More adventures, non-stop diving. We're all there to share the same experience. The rock of Malpelo never moves, just sitting there with its sharp peaks against the sky while your whole day orbits it. The Nazca boobies, who have lived their entire lives there, claim the island as their own. The boat swings on the anchor, but Malpelo stays put, and it doesn't care if you're tired or if you just saw hammerheads. Evenings are early, the boat rocks, and someone starts a card game that gathers everyone for laughs, and fun until we all sleep. The dives ultimately demand everything. Strong currents, deep walls, and you drop fast before the current carries you off the dive site. The guides know every site by heart, where the fish soup of school life is, where the best chances of seeing the wall of hammerheads, should you get lucky, and the giant schools of jacks that swirl around you like a living, breathing planet. Many of the dives, you will surface breathless. The evening dinners, you are always full of stories and triumph over the days of diving. There's nobody else to tell. Because of the one boat rule, there are no other tourists or voices. No second opinion on what you just witnessed, other than the people on board your own ship. It's just the 12 guests, 2 guides, and 5 to 6 crew members on that one rock of Malpelo. And if you're lucky, you'll see the science research vessel, the Silky, which can be around as well. But after several days in, you've got an inside joke about the guy who tried to deploy his DSMB, but instead launched himself. And he'll laugh about it by the last night, and so will you. Something ultimately is going to shift by the last dive day, and people take longer getting out of their wetsuits, and nobody talks about the flight home. Someone takes a group photo that nobody asked for, and everyone in the frame looks wrecked and happy in exactly the same way. You steam back to port for another day or more, and the rock shrinks behind you. You're still eating together, you're still laughing, still retelling the same stories until nobody can breathe. You share drinks and stories, and reminisce on the great times shared, and even plan future adventures together. At some point, you realize you never learned half of their last names, and somehow, that doesn't matter. At the dock, you shake hands, you swap contact information, and promise to stay in touch. And most of you won't, and that's completely okay. But some of you will, even live to dive with each other another day. In 14 days, 12 people built something that only exists at the edge of nowhere, 500 kilometers or 310 miles from the nearest city. It doesn't need to last forever. It's something that simply happened, and that was more than enough. The ocean rewards people who actually show up for it. Sometimes showing up means a lot of time on a boat, a cylinder on your back, and 12 strangers who all became friends over the short amount of time and shared experiences while scuba diving. If you enjoyed this video, I have a perfect video to follow it up here. And YouTube also thinks you might like this video up here. You can check out that one as well. The more you know, the more you'll love and protect the ocean. Until next time.